Go Ford for your next truck or SUV and find an easier way to buy with Woodhouse Ford today. And experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford. Lease a 2023 Ford Escape Active for $397 per month for 48 months and 7,500 miles per year. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Security deposit waived. Tax title license extra with approved credit. Expires 12/04/2023.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Let's hit that button for a bit of Iberian FM phone-in, shall we? Oh, should we do this first? The Iberian FM phone-in. Look at that. Costume change, kinda. If you want to talk more about bands that you saw as a teenager, love that. That was fantastic. People in our community who've seen the Rolling Stones and the Beatles live, folks. Kids, listen to that. You're never going to see anything like that again, I don't suppose. 913-590-303. You might want to pick up where we left off yesterday, talking about the new euthanasia legislation here in Portugal. I think I'll open up the front pages of the English-speaking Portuguese news sources, and we'll see what's going on there. We'll see what's going on over there on the English-speaking news sources, and we'll also keep an eye on your comments. You can, of course, if you prefer not to call in and talk to me, you can send a message on WhatsApp. Or just record it into your WhatsApp and then send it to 913-590-303. Thank you for all the photos that came in this morning that I didn't get a chance to get to. I will pick them up tomorrow morning, so tune in again tomorrow. Let's take a look then and see what's new at the Portugal resident, shall we? And the front page is leading with this morning, President Marcelo, hopeful banks' eyes open to the mortgage problem. I think I want to take a look at that. I'm also going to open up the Portugal news, who are leading with Coldplay concerts begin. That will be a memory for, and that's where we began this morning, wasn't it? It's Astrid's teenage daughter will be seeing Coldplay play today, and that will be hardwired into her teenage memories. What a fantastic thing that is. It's their Music of the Spheres tour, and they're kicking off in with 4 concerts in Coimbra, I believe. I wonder where they're going to be. Are they going to be in the football stadium in Coimbra? Which big venue is used in Coimbra? Urgent need to fight LGBTQIA plus discrimination. We should have a quick look at that as well this morning, I think. So I think we've got a couple of stories, and the president does pass. Okay, 3 hours ago. Let's just conclude then and see if there's anything you want to say on the euthanasia law here in Portugal. Just going back to Revolut quickly before we do that. Lithuania prefix, the LT, means you must declare it as a foreign account when you file your IRS. Wouldn't have to if it was Portugal. Thank you, Andy, for that. Carl, when is Costa going to be forced by the president to call a general election? Don't know, but it could happen, couldn't it? Chaos and turmoil politically here in Portugal at the moment. They've got a lot on their plate that they're dealing with. Many plates are spinning. A lot of that poster politics stuff is going on. Let's see certainly what the president is saying. Somewhat crestfallen, I think, along with the Pope, about the new euthanasia legislation. So he has acceded, is that the right word, when it comes to the euthanasia law. Let me bring that onto the screen so that you can see it for yourself now. They have various pictures, don't they, of the president in various states of emotional response to things. I wonder which picture they're using today. Yes, the concerned face picture of the president, and he has passed the euthanasia law here. Yes, a grave and earnest-faced library picture. The President of the Republic has promulgated the decree. Now, why are they using this language? Promulgated the decree. What's that about? It decriminalizes medically assisted death as required by the Constitution. So interesting choice of words. What we are talking about here is medically assisted death. Presumably, if a doctor had done that for you before this legislation, they would have been a criminal. It has now been decriminalized. So it's not as like the medically assisted death has been legalized, it's been decriminalized, is the nuance here. Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa announced the decision with a short note published on the official website of the Presidency of the Republic. It sounds like he tweeted it almost. The Assembly of the Republic confirmed on the 12th of May by an absolute majority of the deputies in office the new version of the diploma on medically assisted death, for which reason the President of the Republic promulgated decree number 43/XV of the Assembly of the Republic, as required under Article 136, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution of the Portuguese Republic, reads the note. The decree, which the head of state had vetoed on April the 29th, was confirmed on Friday and went to the Belém Palace on the same day for promulgation. Promulgation. It's a good word, but I'm always a little bit, I'm interested to know why obscure, esoteric words are being used in these contexts, rather than just say passed or promoted or allowed. Promulgation is the word we're using here. It had 129 votes in favour from the majority of PS deputies and from the Liberal Initiative and Left Bloc benches, and from the single PAN and Livre deputies, 81 votes against from the majority of PSD deputies. It sounds to me like they're using this as a political football. We've got a call coming in. I've got a call from London. I'm not sure if this is a call into the show, so I'm not going to take it. Can you indicate to me that you're calling on show business, as it were, rather than personal business? I'll come back to that after the show. The decree, which the head of state had vetoed on April 29th, then promulgated. It had 129 votes. And against were Shager and the PCP benches, and there was a Social Democratic deputy who abstained. And when it's like that, it looks party political, doesn't it, than a matter of individual conscience. Then surely these politicians aren't using this as a political football, are they? This grave and serious issue. Article 136, number 2 of the Constitution imposes that after the veto of a decree, if the Assembly of the Republic confirms the vote by an absolute majority of the deputies in office, the President of the Republic must promulgate the diploma within 8 days of receipt. I think you get the idea. In this decree, which amends the penal code, yikes, who doesn't like a penal code first thing in the morning? And thank you for the coffee. A non-punishable medically assisted death is considered to be that which occurs by decision of the person of age whose will is current and reiterated, serious, free, and enlightened in a situation of suffering of great intensity with definitive injury or extreme severity or serious or incurable disease when practiced or helped by health professionals. That's the important wording, isn't it? Let me read that again. So it amends the penal code. A non-punishable medically assisted death is considered to be that which occurs by decision of the person of age, so that they have to have reached the age of consent, presumably 18 here, whose will is current and reiterated, serious, free, and enlightened, in a situation of suffering of great intensity with definitive injury of extreme severity or serious and incurable disease when practiced or helped by the health professionals there. The last article stipulates that this law enters into force 30 days after the publication of the respective regulation, which is up to the government to approve. So it's going to be a while. And as Deagle was alluding to, they have a lot of other things on their plate at the moment. So this might be even more political game playing, knowing that it will be kicked into the long grass for those politicians who are serious about this issue. Last para then, on April the 19th, before the fourth decree, the President of the Republic vetoed it, but dismissed doubts of constitutionality, pointing out only a problem of precision in 2 specific points, and commented on an eventual confirmation saying, there is no drama with this. So a little statesmanlike, I think, there, and going with the Constitution rather than his own personal views on that, which is actually gone against. Okay, Antonio, responding to you, Deagle. We'll come back to the Portugal news and the Portugal resident. Probably only when PSD is strong enough to rule alone is when a general election may be called. Thank you for that insight, Antonio. And promulgation, the act of officially or publicly announcing a new law or system. the promulgation of a new constitution. I understand what the word means, but why are they using it rather than just using something simpler? This is something that reminds me of the conversation we were having with Elaine. Accountants, lawyers, other professionals, they need their esoteric language, don't they, to somehow justify their behavior, maybe. Carl, or keep us plebs and muggles out of their world. Carl, promulgation means it's published in the Diario de Repubblica and is then enforced as law, technicalities, law language. Yeah, thank you for that. And when meanings, this is what I'm getting at, I think. Squire of the Shires is here. Good morning. I think you like a bit of Iberian FM phone-in, right, Squire of the Shires? When meanings of words are deviously twisted, we are unsettled and vulnerable, a psychological experience of cognitive dissonance. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. We didn't do the dad jokes, did we, with Elaine? We got carried away talking about other things. All right, let's have a quick look at LGBTQIA+. I think I've got all the letters in there. And the other article, which was the president, let's stay with the president and him signaling to the banks that they're going to do something to help people. How hopeful are you about that? For example, that a signaling, a moral signaling, you might say, from the president might be enough to get banks to change their behavior. I somehow think not, but let's give it a doubt and go and have a look and see what is being said over here on the Portugal Resident front page and front story. President Marcelo hopeful banks eyes open to mortgage problem. This is Natasha Don reporting yesterday. Thank you, Natasha. Speaks as top 5 banks register over 900 million euros in first quarter profits. Well, thank heavens they're doing okay in these difficult times for humanity. The banks are registering over 900 million in first quarter profits. So you'd think, wouldn't you? They're feeling good. They're celebrating with champagne, possibly doing well in challenging times for a lot of other human beings who are going to food banks. Some of the best educated people in Portugal are resorting to food banks. Let's see how they are responding in this situation, or are likely to. Portugal's President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa has said today that he hopes the country's banks are awake to the problem of mortgages. That's a quote, awake to the problem, and that the Bank of Portugal is also considering this matter for the government to act on a smaller scale. The president's concerns come as the country's 5 leading banks have registered hefty first quarter profits, combining to reach over not just 900 million, but 919 million. 19 million is a significant amount of money, Natasha Don, or inflated by the time we got to that paragraph. Speaking to journalists with this clearly in mind, he said he welcomed the words of BCP Chief Executive Miguel Maia, BCP declaring a 90% increase in profits. What? In comparison to the same period last year, who has called for a reflection on the terms, rates and installments of housing loans. I considered it to be a good sign because that is the problem. That and inflation, which can either hinder or delay the arrival of those very good macro numbers to the pockets of the Portuguese, said Marcelo. Standing up for the people and seeing if he can put a bit of pressure, virtue signal a bit possibly to the banks to see if they will adjust people's mortgages. Quizzed over whether he believes the government should adopt more measures to help people with vastly increased mortgages, the president said, I think this firsthand is dependent on the decision of the banks and the monitoring by the Bank of Portugal. According to Marcelo, it is clear that government subsidies have helped a limited number of cases, but there are 1.1 million loans. So 1 in 10 Portuguese people has a loan, which means multiplied by the number of people in the household, some 3 million people. It affects the lives of 3 million people. So I would say that I'm hopeful that the banking sector is awake to the problem. It doesn't sound incredibly powerful, does it? And the Bank of Portugal too. And that the measures the government is taking in terms of the budget will also contribute. But on a smaller scale, it's smaller for those who are really in need. It doesn't reach all those who have home loans, he added, stressing that the increase in interest payable on housing loans is still a problem with no clear way out, while banks are paying those who save them with very little. 'Twas ever thus. Faced with today's announcement over profits, Marcelo said more than once how cheered he was by the words of Miguel Maia, who recognises the president has a genuine concern for the Portuguese and pledged to see if there's anything more the BCP can do to help its customers. I wonder, should one be cynical here? BCP, call a meeting. Should we help people with mortgages? Let's have a think about that. It will hurt our profits probably if we do. So no, let's just send a press release out that signals back to the president that we've thought about it. And as much as we'd like to do something We can't really at the moment. And actually, we've got to wait to see what the Bank of Portugal does. I've never been a landlord, nor do I intend to be until the end of my life. But I respect that the overwhelming majority of Portuguese want to be landlords because it is what they have left as insurance for the future. It is one of the important insurances they want to leave for the future of their families, interestingly. This is what Marcelo was saying as a militant tenant. He said, referring to the recent news that the government's housing plans have seen a number of landlords sell up rather than face the prospect of state interference. Trouble at mill, all sorts going on. Could prompt a general election. And thank you for your insight on this, Antonio F., and for that question, Deagle. Remember Bojo, his proroguing of Parliament. Is that a device that can be used here as well, Lord Gilchrist? I see. This is the use of esoteric words to do something and confuse people whilst doing it. Yeah, a discontinuous session of Parliament or Legislative Assembly without dissolving it. Yes, devil is in that detail right there. I mean, he is a devilish... He's not a detailed guy, but there's certainly there's a bit of devilishness going on in that kind of detail of proroguing. He put the rogue in prorogue, did he not? Okay, so then finally, let us return, and your comments most welcome, and do call in on 913-590-303 or send a message to that number. Let's see what's being said about this other article that piqued my interest, which was urgent need to fight discrimination for the LGBTQIA plus community. And let's take a look at this now. Let me bring it onto the screen for you so that you can comment as well, should you wish to. Urgent need to fight discrimination. Yes. And it goes back to what Elaine was saying, wasn't it? On a personal level, I think we can check, can't we, where we have our prejudices and our pre-programmed thoughts and thoughts which might not be our own, and attempt to connect heart to heart with people, regardless of the pigeonholes we might put them in. I see what's going on here. Certainly, we can celebrate an end to discrimination and prejudice and things that get in the way of true human love and contact. The President of the Republic today marks International Day, the International Day to fight homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia, with a message in which he considered it urgent to support political efforts to combat discrimination against LGBTQIA plus people. So I didn't realize that, but today is the International Day to fight homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia, with a message. The message from the president was published today on the official website. He's been busy on the official website of the Presidency of the Republic on the internet. Although we have been witnessing signs of progress all over the world, discrimination and exclusion due to sexual orientation and gender identity persist and are the cause of suffering for many and many among us. For the President of the Republic, if discrimination persists, whether in privacy, including within the family, whether in the public space, at school, in health, at work, it is urgent to develop and support political efforts to combat discrimination against LGBTQIA+, and that we don't forget the way we treat those around us, he adds. Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, who a year ago also marked the International Day to combat homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia, takes advantage of this date to argue that it is necessary to build a country where there is no place for any form of discrimination. Millions of people live in countries where homosexuality is illegal, he says. The head of state expresses the wish that this day gives expression to the hope for a more inclusive, more open country without hatred and without violence. And I hope we are a prototype in some way for the inclusion, acceptance, and not giving a crap so much about people's personal choices in their lives. You know, let us all get on with our lives as we wish to, as long as we're not hurting anybody else. A little Gumper prototype here that we might offer up in support of the President's conversation today. And we see Lord Gilchrist proudly waving his rainbow flag there. I can't call in, he says. Way too much construction noise outside as they are relaying the calçadas and curbstones. Okay. A lot of cobblers outside your window then, as usual. If governments wanted to help the people, they would stop central banks from printing any more money and get them to raise their capital reserve, which is at the moment zero. Wrong on all levels. What's that? I'm not sure what we're talking about there. Squire of the Shires. Okay, I think we'll leave it there today. We'll do more Iberian FM phone-in tomorrow. You have the chance to get things off your chest, to tell us about what's grinding your gears, all with the aim not of bringing more frustration and anger into the world, but to be free of it. Let's not deny that we might have things that trigger us. And let's not be choking down those emotions or pretending. As Elaine said, if we have these emotional residues in us, they can be quite toxic and harmful, not unlike the anaerobic lactic acids that can form inside the body. So let's be free of that stuff, those residues, those unhelpful and toxic residues that live within us, and maybe sharing them in an open-minded, open-hearted environment is the way to get rid of them and to be free and live in a world without our own prejudices or to be the subject of other people's, so that we could coexist in harmony. The prototype for a free humanity here. It starts. It begins with us. It begins with you on the Iberian FM phone-in every weekday on 913-590-303. I'm getting some applause and some peace and love from the Squire of the Shires this morning. We'll keep going with this, and we'll see what happens as we reach out from Portugal into the Iberian Peninsula, across Europe, and the whole world. It's going to be a great day, isn't it, when we get calls from all over the world, people staying up late at night or getting up early in the morning and wanting to contribute in some way. Lord Gilchrist is spring cleaning his orifice, rearranging the equipment, and finally organising the Man Cave HQ. That sounds serious. What's that going to involve, I wonder? So in the spirit of the Man Cave, let me share those. Actually, we had a visual one first, didn't we? Let me share the visual with you first. And thank you very much, James, for this. If I could choose to have one superpower, it would be invisibility, says the captain. I just want to make myself clear. Look at the smile on his face there. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, James, for that. And the dad jokes to conclude this morning as we send you off with a nice little comedic palate cleanser. I find springs hilarious, but then again, I've got a twisted sense of humor. Please don't ride with me, he continues, if you're going to grab the dash and scream every time we run off the road. It makes me nervous. We all know someone who drives like that, don't we? And spiders are the only web designers who get happy when they find a bug. Oh, back to nature. We started with squirrels who like nuts, just like you, and spiders who like a bug, unlike human web designers. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. You've been awfully good. Well done. Bye for now. Ciao for now. Have a great day. Oh, and I'll have the Revolut referral and Wise referral links for you tomorrow. I'm sorry I wasn't better prepared today. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
See care in a new light at Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals, where top medical minds lift you up, where the very best in specialized rehabilitation brings out your very best, where over 60 years of breakthroughs in research and technology spark your newfound strength. In our world-class hospitals, this is something greater than rehabilitation. It's renewed strength for life. Learn more at madonnarehab.org.